so completely different to a few weeks ago. I mean, this area was just wildebeest for as far as the eye can see, and the Egyptian goose pride were getting stuck in, so to speak. We actually had 4 kills just over here, just to the left of us, in this open plain where there's not even a topi this morning. So, as you know, a lot of us, well, we spend a lot of nights out and stuff, and one of the most important things about being out early in the morning is that actually gives us an idea what our plans are going to be for the evening and where we're going to work and how long we're going to stay in certain areas. So, for example, now, even though I'm driving in an area that doesn't seem to have much going on, that's now popped into my head, and I know, well, this is not where I want to be tonight. There's, even if we do find lions here, there's nothing for them to eat around, so got to weigh up all the options. And being such an absolutely massive area, it's quite important to make the right decisions about where you want to be settled in for the whole night. I think we should go. Yeah, doesn't look like much is happening here. I'm going to loop down, as I said. We'll just have a quick check around the Egyptian goose area, and then head off towards Mlimambili, the 2 hills, which is basically in the middle between the river, or between this road and the escarpment. And a very good question from David in the beautiful Napa, California. David would like to know, why is everything generally bigger in the Mara except for the hyenas? Now, that is an absolutely excellent question. And in my chats with the hyena researchers, the only sort of, no one can say for 100%, but the most logical explanation is the fact that they're able to have such big clan sizes that they haven't had to grow as big, because when there are 90 of you, it's okay. The strength is in the size of numbers rather than the body size. So that's the most likely reason why the hyenas aren't as big in the Mara as they are in South Africa. Now, very interesting. The further south you go, the bigger the hyenas get. So the hyenas in southern Africa are the biggest in Africa. I've seen some massive hyenas when I was doing predator research. Fair enough, the one female, she did have a belly full of hippo meat, but that hyena tipped the scales at over 90 kilograms. It's absolutely huge for a hyena. Okay, well, I continue to suffer without cats. The ladies, of course, are all on top of it this morning, but Jamie is back with some more antelope.
But I left the antelope, so my apologies for that. I'm going to I really want to see a leopard, and there's a female with cubs around Little Governors. She spends more time on the other side of the river, but you never know. We might get lucky. Leopards have a way of popping up unexpectedly, so we're going to go very slowly and meander along. Let me get close to the river, and then we'll drive along there, see if we can spot a leopard. Oh, it's got chilly all of a sudden. Mila is running. Mila's my car that we're driving at the moment. Mila is running like an absolute dream. And she was given some TLC last night from our resident mechanic Shadrach. But when Shadrach first arrived, and he first started working for us, and he's been an absolute blessing to have him on site every day sorting out our vehicle issues. But when he first arrived, he brought me honey. He said he was going to bring me honey, and I was sort of expecting a little jar of honey. And what he actually brought me was this massive Tupperware of fresh honeycomb. The honeycomb was still in the honey. It was the most delicious thing I have ever eaten in my entire life. And you know, they always say that you're meant to have honey when you suffer from allergies. And I must say, I haven't struggled at all with allergies here. Nothing is making me sneeze, except occasionally the dust. But that's the amazing thing about Kenya, actually, and where we are up in the mountain. There are beehives, artificial beehives, absolutely everywhere. We've got them in our camp, actually. Now that I think about it, content team, there's an interesting Safari Live story for you. The story of the bees. Because, of course, bees are declining at an alarming rate throughout the world, and they are so essential for so many different things, especially pollination. They are critical to what we do as human beings, to farming, to flowers, and it's really special to see such protected beehives around the area. I wonder, I must actually try and find out, I wonder if it has something to do with elephants, trying to keep them away. Might be one use of having a beehive around. Elephants really don't like bees. And every now and again we're sitting in camp, or we're standing around the vehicles, and we get a swarm of bees that just flies past us. I'll never forget the first time it happened. Poor Steph. Steph is very allergic to bees. He's dangerously allergic to bees. And they all flew past, and Steph, everybody stand still. Everybody just froze. It was like a game of musical statues. It was hilarious. Shame. And then poor Steph got stung. He had a really bad run of things. He got CR food, if you can use that as a verb. He got CR food about 3 times, had to move Hyena and Blake into the mess tent to sleep. The ants just swarmed his tent. Then he got stung by a bee, and we had to rush him to the clinic so that he could get some serious antihistamines. And of course I carry an EpiPen because I'm allergic to shellfish, and it's not like I'm going to come into contact with it here, but whenever we go and visit the coast. So I ran to get my EpiPen, forgetting that because I'm not a very large person, I've actually got a child's EpiPen, which we realized was not going to work for poor Steph. So there you go, a little bit of the behind the scenes moments in the Mara camp. Bees. And there's a honey guide. Now, honey guide, I'll play you the call, since I'm busy looking for leopards and we're not seeing any. I'll play you the call of the honey guide if you give me 1 second. It's a beautiful view. It's so lovely here. Oopsie. My thing is telling me it's got very low battery. There's a honey guide that lives in our camp, and it spends its days trying desperately to tell us that there's a beehive next to our bathroom. It's quite hilarious. It's one of the few cases where the birds have actually basically adapted to live with humans. And what the honey guide does is it goes and it calls human beings, as well as honey badgers, to come and break open beehives. And it's one of the few birds that can actually break down and digest wax. So if I play the call, I'm going to have to move it slightly closer, I think, to my microphone. Let's see how loud it is. Sits outside our tents and does this. These people are so stupid, they haven't realized there's a beehive right next to me, begging us to go and break it open for him. I always think it sounds like it's saying, "Come here." As we go off in search of our spotted cats, Taylor's been having a marvelous morning, and she's got not one but 2 of the most iconic creatures out here.
Jamie, you actually don't even understand how fantastic it is. I know we've all seen things like this, but it is always amazing to see lions and elephants in a sighting, and I think you're the queen of those sightings, to be honest. And now, it's quite interesting. One of our lionesses actually ran straight through the middle of the elephant herd, and then one young elephant chased her, and the rest of them don't seem to be too bothered at all. But now the cubs are following that lioness as she sits down only a couple of meters away. She's brave. I don't know if she's brave or a bit on the silly side, because like I was saying to Darby now, I was like, I'm not really worried about the adults. My concern comes in with those young cubs, because they're not as quick and nimble as the adults, and they're also a bit, or they're getting to that age where they're a bit stupid, and they think that they're bigger and braver than what they actually are. Remember, we watched the one young cub actually chase after that buffalo bull. This was a sighting about a week ago, and that concerns me, because if they do something like that, an elephant is really not going to tolerate a little lion. But they're moving away now. I mean, obviously, the elephants don't want anything to do with the lions don't really want anything to do with the elephants either. They don't hunt them around here. That's sort of more Wangi National Park in Zim, where you see lions taking down elephants on a regular basis. And then they're moving off. They're obviously making their way down to the river line. It was quite entertaining to watch. I'm just trying to see. Oh, that's why the other lioness ran over. She was running over to the kill. We'll see. Oh, she's dragging the carcass. Look, Darby. You see her just on the right. So this was the lioness that ran through the herd of elephants, and she was obviously running towards the carcass. Now she's trying to drag it. Now let's see what happens. Now you're probably going to see a couple of vehicles because there are a few of them around. We had a very interesting sighting a moment ago. It was, oh, there she goes, dragging it again. That's amazing, the power that she's able to do that. Look how she does it with absolute ease. Stopping just every now and then just to take a breath. It must be quite heavy. And I think this is quite comical because we watched a similar scene the other day with a lioness dragging a wildebeest carcass. Excuse me. Sorry, the camera shook because I sneezed. And she dragged it maybe about 50 or 60 meters. She was exhausted, and eventually she just gave up. She went and she flopped off under the shade, and then the next lioness came through and started dragging it as well. I'll be impressed if she takes it all the way to that other lioness. Unfortunately, they don't sort of work as a team in terms of moving a carcass around, though it would be great to see two lions carrying a carcass in the same direction. Normally, if they are two of them on a carcass and trying to move it, it's because they're fighting for a piece. And that was one of the most amazing things I saw. So the first time I ever saw a lion kill was many years ago, and they killed an antelope called a blesbok, and it was two male lions, and they literally held on either side of this blesbok and pulled it in half. It was the most graphic thing I think I'd ever seen, but incredible just to see how strong they were. Isn't that great? Elephants, lions, zebra, there actually are buffalo and giraffe around too, so there's many animals in the sighting. Maybe she's just going to... I can't believe... There's a couple of trees, a few Balanites trees. Maybe that's where she's going to take it, but she's still quite a way off. She's got about another 100 meters, 80 to 100 meters or so before she can find it. It would make sense if they took it there, because they're not going to lay out in the sun for the entire day. It's going to be too hot, even though there is a bit of cloud cover. That's no good, unfortunately. So I would assume that that's where she's going to drag it to, because then they can lay comfortably in the shade and also keep an eye on their carcass. Because at that distance, the hyenas will come in and the vultures will come in too and just snatch it or eat it all up. Sorry. Orchid, you said one should invent the wheelbarrow. Listen, the day that I see a lion picking up a carcass and putting it in a wheelbarrow and then standing on their back legs and wheeling it to a tree, well, that'll be the day. I think I would be quite petrified, because then they surely would be able to open doors. And I said, the day that lions learn how to open doors, I'm out. I'm not playing this game anymore. I'll go find another game to play. Look at her go. Now, full-bellied, exhausted from hunting, and now I must drag it over unlevel surface. That's impressive. They are hard-working creatures, and you can really see why they need to catch up on their sleep. And we often say lazy lions, but we know that this is not true, especially when we see things like this. I mean, the typical lion sighting, where I think we're quite spoiled, is flat cats in grass. Byron's favorite word, flat cats, but literally not even twitching an ear. And it can be very frustrating, especially when you have people who have traveled all over the world to see lions, and that is their only lion sighting. But there's not much we can do about that. So to actually exhibit all the hard work that goes into, like, you know, lions moving their carcasses around, you know, hunting, suckling cubs, moving from spot to spot, you know, in search of animals, it really is amazing. And you realize just how necessary it is to relax and catch up on some much deserved sleep. Now, I know we're very far away, but I'm quite happy just to watch her from here. Maybe what we will do just now is, when she gets a bit closer, she's actually motoring now, we'll go around and we'll try and get her coming towards us, but we'll have to do a big loop again. That may take some navigating, because it's not exactly the easiest ground here, unfortunately. Stephen, you said that Mufasa is waiting at home in his lazy boy, well, awaiting supper. Possibly, but there's no Mufasa here, unfortunately. Not with these girls. I have yet to see the sausage tree lionesses with a male, and I wonder which males would be here. Maybe the triangle boys? I would assume the triangle boys, because we're not too far away from that spot either. Shall we reposition, David? What do you think? Oh, where do these cubs keep coming from? One minute you think you've got eyes on them all, and then they just start popping out of crevices. The belly's a bit big. They got stumbled slightly. I think this was the one that may have been feeding on the carcass. Now going back, and then obviously panicked when the elephants charged the lions first. And so that was another thing I have to quickly tell you before we reposition, is that when the elephants chased, it was all very quiet. I didn't hear the lionesses make a contact call or anything, but the cub that we were watching feed on the zebra ran, knew straight away that I must get away. So I don't know if that's just natural instinct, or if there was some communication that we just couldn't hear from the adults, as if to say, run away, get to safety, But okay, let's reposition because we're very far away, and she stopped dragging the carcass now. Perhaps she's said, right, it's your turn to go and pull the baboon, the zebra. What I was going to say is that Jamie has got some baboons. I wonder if they're climbing trees or on the ground, or just perhaps relaxing and enjoying the sun.
A combination of both. None of them are in trees, all of them are on the ground, and I think relaxing and enjoying the sun is exactly what they're doing. So from little lion cubs to, little baboons. You're too sweet, little one. Oh, look at it pottering about. Absolutely adorable. One of the baboons presenting itself to be groomed. Yeah, I wouldn't be so keen either, to be completely honest. And of course, now I've got to get this right. I always want to call them ischial calicites, but it's not. They're ischial callosities. I think that's how you pronounce it, callosities. The protruding sort of brightly coloured flesh around the baboon's buttocks, which is of course a sign of sexual maturity. And when the females come into estrus, it becomes particularly bright and very, very apparent. Oh, baby's been taken away. Let's go see if we can get a bit closer. Callosity. It's a funny word. Patty, you say, wow, you've never seen baboons. Oh, well, Patty, you're in for a treat. Baboons are thoroughly entertaining. Now, on Djuma, we actually struggled with baboon sightings. Look at this. This is very interesting interaction. A female went up to try and pull the baby away from the mother. What sometimes happens with baboons, they've got quite a strict social hierarchy, and there are females that are more dominant than others. And sometimes what happens is the females actually, they kidnap other females as babies. And the poor distressed mother, if she's low ranking, she gets into an utter state because she can't get it back from the kidnapper. Obviously, there's some sort of instinct that tells the female to go and grab a baby, whether or not it's hers. And the member of the baboon troop that's responsible for then looking after the baby and helping the mother out is the big male. So baboons live in a social structure. Oh, look at this. Hi, Dad. Bye, Dad. Where are you off to? Oh, you are ridiculously cute. Oh, we found a friend. Oh, but you are so cute. So, baboons live in systems known as oligarchy. Now, there's a couple of big dominant males within a baboon troop, and they will actually protect the females from situations where they're being harassed by other higher-ranking females, especially if she's one of his favorites. Oh, look. Will I be big and strong like you one day? Can I enjoy some of what you're eating? That is too lovely. There you go. I'm glad we've got to enjoy a baboon sighting. And I thought at first they were actually going to run away from us, but we've been really fortunate. The baboons here are quite shy. Woman, speaking of the kidnapping of infant baboons, no, baboons don't really steal human babies. You get situations where I don't think it's a maternal instinct at all. There's a possibility that a baboon might attack a human baby because they're omnivores, and male baboons have massive canines, and there are a few unusual cases of baboons attacking small babies, particularly where they've been in a place where they've been fed and where they've learned to break into houses. Scrapping. Little internal dispute. Remedied relatively quickly. So it's unusual for that to occur. It's very, very unusual. But obviously in a situation where human beings have been responsible for the habituation. Oh, nope, no luck there. I don't think that's your mum, little one. David, no, that's the lovely thing about baboons. The males, you obviously will get an occasional situation where a baby is killed by a male, but male baboons don't really take over a troop. Once they disperse from their natal troop, they'll move around and they'll shyly hang out around the edges of a baboon troop, hoping to get accepted by the rest of the society. And slowly but surely they'll basically make friends with the females, and with a bit of scrapping in between with the dominant males, eventually they'll come to be accepted by the group. But because it's not one dominant male that mates with all the females, it doesn't do them any good to kill baby baboons. They won't do that at all. What they'll do is they'll find a female in estrus, they'll mate with her. They often have preferred females, and they become what biologists term almost godfathers to the little ones, and it pays off in the long run. So even if a baby's not theirs, if they prefer that female, they will look after that little one and won't kill it. Which is lovely, isn't it? That's not to say they can't be vicious to each other, particularly the females. They can have really serious disagreements to the point that the males step in to try and keep the peace. Manu, look at this one. Look at them. They've all climbed up into that tree, and the one is now dangling. Let's just have a look. I know there's two are playing, but look, there's one that's dangling and is spread eagled between two branches at the tip there. Oh, managed. Time to practice some tree climbing, huh? Oh no, now what? Oh dear. Can't reach. I'm trying to help the other guy up. Don't pull each other out of the trees. James, the average troop size, I'm going to give you a rough estimate rather than an exact number. I'm not sure exactly what the average is, but you're probably looking at around about 25 to 30 odd baboons. You get troops of up to 40 individuals. This one must be 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23 that I can count. Just a rough count. So you're looking at, an average of between 25 and 30. I'm not sure of the exact number. I'm sure that somebody has researched and come up with an average. Oh, hello, Impala. They've just come racing out of the bushes. What's up? What happened? Little ones. I think little one's having a game. If there were any leopards in the area, the baboons most definitely would have found them. I think they just got startled. Baboons and leopards, of course, enemies. There you go. That brings us to Patty's question. Yes, leopards will hunt baboons. They will climb up into the trees when they sleep at night, and they will grab baboons. But baboons are not defenseless, and the big male baboons will fiercely protect their troop. They've got canines bigger than a leopard, and especially a female leopard will find herself in quite serious trouble if she tangles with a baboon troop, because she's not quite big enough to challenge them. And generally speaking, it is only really the leopard that is a proper enemy of baboons. Babies get swiped by eagles every now and again, and I suppose occasionally fall victim to snakes as well. But for the most part, those are their main enemies, birds and leopards. And we, of course, had that extraordinary sighting with Tundi back on Djuma, where the baboons went after her cubs. And she went and she saved her cubs. She rescued them. She distracted the baboons enough that they lost track of where the cubs were. But she ended up chased up a jackalberry tree, and she had to stay there for about an hour before the baboons moved off. So whenever they see them, they bark. Oh, imagine the upper arm strength you have to be able to do that. Swing your body weight around like that. We are so puny when it comes to the animals out here, when we compare them. When you compare our physical strength to the animal's physical strength. Manu, I thought we were agile this morning when we wrapped the roof covers up. We got nothing on these guys. This is the best game ever. Go and dangle from the end of a branch and then drop down. And this play is essential for baby baboons. It builds up their strength and their skills so that if a lion or a leopard or a predator happen to come through, they are able to escape it if their parents are not nearby. Sorry. I shouldn't laugh, but the one just severely overestimated the leap and went tumbling out of the tree. They fall out of trees all the time when they're young like this. They generally don't hurt themselves. Right, we're going to move on from our playful baboon troop and their jungle gym. Let's go back to Taylor, whose lioness has decided that the zebra is not quite in the right place.
It's exactly what she's doing now. We've done quite a bit of repositioning. At one point, there were no lionesses on the carcass. They all came back, regrouped, but one has gone back again to fetch their prized possession. Look at this. Now, it's a very awkward thing to drag. You know, if it was something small like an impala, they could pick it up quite high off the ground and just walk with it. Whereas here, they use the interesting technique, of course, of either front leg on either side of the neck and then trying to drag it. So if any of you have done or not wanting to do 2 trips back and forth to the car for grocery, you know, you add 10 bags on one arm, 8 on the other, and then somehow, I've done it before, I put a roll of toilet paper in between my legs and I did the shuffle all the way inside. It did take me a lot longer, but it was totally worth it because I didn't have to go back to the car and even managed to lock it. I thought that was an achievement. And I feel like that's exactly what these lions are doing too. But now, of course, dragging something around, you're burning vital calories. So it's best to just stop every now and then and, well, revitalize. Have a nibble on some zebra. That's exactly what she's going to do. But she's getting closer and closer to the tree, and I'm pretty sure that's what's going to happen, is that they're just going to keep dragging it towards here and pop it underneath the Lionesses tree. There's very sort of restricted shade in this area. It's wide open spaces. Of course, they can go down to the river and head that way, but they probably won't. They'll probably sit out in the open. And the wind is starting up again. Oh, it's a pity. I thought we were going to have a lovely sort of still day, but that's okay. At least the sun is out. The clouds are moving in, but nothing that looks like a rain cloud just yet. That might, of course, change for this afternoon. Or there's a couple with grey bottoms that look a little bit dangerous, but nothing over the tops of our heads, which is perfect. That suits me just fine. And it's really amazing, and something we don't get to see all the time, especially when you've been based at Djuma, where there's not a lot of high ground, is when you're up on the escarpment at camp, and you're basically looking at the clouds eye level, especially these low-lying clouds. It's really amazing. It's such a beautiful scene. And this is so great. You're very spoilt this morning by the sounds of it. I mean, not just with us, but with all the other sightings you've had as well. Joe, you said that's why this lioness looks so muscular from all the weightlifting. Most certainly. I don't know if you've all, I think everyone's pretty much seen it, how sort of staunch the lionesses are here in comparison to the ones in the Sabi sand. You know, the girls in the Sabi sand seem to be a lot more tall and elegant, whereas these girls look like they haven't skipped gymming their arms. You know, they seem to do it if not once a day, twice a day. They're very, very powerful shoulders, and you know, all the way down to their paws. They just look a lot more muscular. It's hard out here. You know, you've got to travel very far distances. They're taking down large prey. Of course, and lions and Sabi sands take down large prey too, but I feel like these cats are having to drag, exactly like what Joe's just said, drag their food a lot further distances, whereas the lions in the Sabi sand, it's so dense there that they can really just, you know, take something down, and right next to them there'll be a tree or a shrub of sorts that they can tuck their kill under. Here it's a little bit different. I mean, there's some areas that have got shrubs around and it makes it a bit easier, but most of the areas are vast open plains with, you know, just termite mounds and the odd tree here and there. I'm really chuffed with this morning. I've had a lot of fun, and I hope that you've also had a lot of fun. Now, she's munching away. We've seen a couple of them eating around the zebra, and Scotty, you're wondering if they have to make a fresh kill every single night. No, not necessarily, and it's not really up to the lions, is it? Because the amount of times that they'll actually miss trying to catch something versus how successful they are is quite great. So even though they might try and hunt every single night, it doesn't mean that they're going to catch something. It takes, well, they've got to have a little bit of luck on their side too, I suppose, and make sure that they execute their maneuvers 100% in order to be successful at bringing down an animal. So it's tough work for these cats. It's not easy. You know, even though they are the biggest and most powerful cats out here in Africa, they still do have a lot of sort of things in their pathway that, what am I even trying to say here? Obstacles, there we go, that's the word that I'm looking for. Many obstacles in their pathway, but they manage, they definitely do. It's really tough for them at the moment now because the herds have moved on, and I reckon when the herds were here, I unfortunately didn't get to see it, and Brent was teasing me earlier about how many kills I've seen since I've been here. Ha ha ha, Brent, rub it in. Why don't you? I haven't seen a kill yet, can you believe it? I've just been so unlucky, but that's okay. I've been fortunate enough to see many in my life. Besides not seeing that, the interesting things I have seen really do make up for it. But of course we're out here to film the migration and all that happens around the migration. And a big part of that is, of course, lions taking down wildebeest and zebra. So that is our goal until the migration is over. Now, OD farming, you're wondering why have they eaten the zebra in this fashion? I presume that you're talking about the fact that they've eaten the hindquarter. They've also eaten the head of the zebra. That's quite typical. Those are the favorite parts of an animal. And because there's so few lions here, yes, you've got 4 cubs and 2 adults. They don't make a huge dent in it. I mean, they've probably been feeding on this for quite some time now. And there's still lots and lots of flesh on the zebra. So the rump, just like we would go for the rump of an animal, say for a cow to feed on, it's a favorite part. That's what they like. They love to eat the eyes of the animals. And so basically they have dessert first and then they move on to the rest. So if there's a big pride of lions, they obviously just eat wherever they can grab hold of the animal. But when you've got so few of them, you can be a little bit more selective. So rump, neck, head, and then they'll start moving on to the other spots. So, taking the stomach out as well. and they love to eat the lungs. They love to eat of course, the delicious liver and the heart. They're all filled with all sorts of minerals and nutrients. And so they love those bits as well. And I suppose every part of that zebra is important for their diet. Like I've just said, different parts of the meat hold different nutrients, and they need every bit that they can get. I just must see where the others have gone. I think they've moved off, actually. So I can't see them around anymore. And I do see some cars going back behind us, so the pride must be heading on their way. So this looks like it's the older lioness with the very tattered ears. Now, here's a question that we actually get asked quite often, and it's from Patty, and it's about if big cats ever get sick from eating rotten meat. So with the animal's digestive system, particularly the predators, they've got amazing enzymes and things that help combat all the bacteria that would make you and I sick. So if I went to that zebra, well, it's still relatively fresh, but tomorrow if I came to that zebra carcass and I wiped my finger through it and put it in my mouth, I'd probably become exceptionally ill and maybe have to even go to hospital with a bacterial infection of sorts. But lions and hyenas and a lot of the not even just the predators, the mammals, but the raptors too will feed on rotting carcasses. Sorry. That was a good laugh. And so they're fine. They're okay. They can manage it. So they'll eat rancid meat. But we have seen every now and then, and I have seen animals actually vomiting, and I could only assume that something didn't agree with their body. And now a natural response, of course, when something doesn't agree with your body, you try and get rid of it in various forms. So I have seen lions vomiting, and I would assume that's from maybe eating something that his stomach didn't agree with. Right, we'll stick here for a little bit longer. Before Jamie's little animals run away, let's jump back on her car.
I don't think I could have described it better than Manu just put it. He said we've come round cute corner. From baby baboons to tiny weeny little warthog piglets. Oh, look at them. They are minute. There's about 6 of them wandering about. Oh, I want one. I don't, of course. I would never go and take one. But they are irresistible. Females and their little ones. Oh, little piglets. I would say, if I had to guess, maybe a month old. They're not very large at all. Of course, they spend the first few weeks of their lives tucked away in the den sites, in the little burrows under the ground. It's a dangerous world for a little snack like that, especially when there are leopards and lions around. But those are adorable. Catherine, you say, so darling, these little babies. They really are irresistible. Everybody loves a baby animal. There's not a single one that isn't cute. Everybody always says warthogs are ugly creatures. Not everyone. A lot of people say that warthogs are ugly creatures. I couldn't disagree more. I find them, even the adults, I find terribly endearing. Especially when they go trotting off with their tails high up in the air like little aerials. Look at them go. I wonder what the world looks like from their perspective. Imagine, I mean, they can barely see through the grass. No wonder. I mean, it really gives you a good idea of why warthogs run with their tails up. Because when they're running away from something and they need their piglets to follow, they've got to have something that sticks up. Oh, run, 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 run. Panic! Panic stations. It's okay. Mom's chilled. Everybody's fine. 2 different age groups, I think. Some are slightly larger than the others. That one at the back is minute. So, Jake, Mara's an interesting place because you've got 2 rainy seasons. So typically, in a place like South Africa's got a very set seasonal difference. It's got a dry season and a wet season. And in those sorts of areas, you get pretty much statistically all of the herbivores either have a strict breeding season where they give birth in the rainy season, or they have a peak breeding season where most of the babies are born during the rainy season. The Mara is slightly different because there is a great deal of rain. There's food pretty much all year round, provided the rains have been good. So there's not there's not a strict schedule. You'll find that there's a slight peak towards the rainy seasons, and of course in November, we're coming up to technically the time of year where there's a little bit more rain, the first of the rainy seasons, slightly shorter rainy season. So you'll find that there's a peak, but there's no set breeding schedule for the animals out here. Wildebeest, of course, slightly different. During the migration, they'll go and they'll calve in Tanzania. But for the most part, and baboons don't have a strict breeding season at all. They'll breed all year round. So will lions. Oh, look at your little warts on your face. There's definitely a runt of the litter there. One that's much smaller. That one. That little chap at the back. Come on, keep up. Of course, those little beard sideburns meant to look like tusks. Heidi, I think so. I know that they are quite altricial, in other words, quite underdeveloped when they are born. I think they're born with their eyes closed, but I'm not 100% sure on that, but I think they do. It makes sense because they're a burrowing animal. Oh, what is that, Mum? These are furrier than we are. Baboon's not having any of it. That's too precious. Yay, friends! Baby baboon also curious. What is this, and can I play with it? Oh, and just casually throwing some zebras into the mix as well. There go the little piglets. I want to reposition, but I want to just give it a moment so that they're not too close to the road. Otherwise, they're going to scatter in sheer panic. That was cool. Natural, innocent curiosity of baby baboons and baby warthogs. Man, that was cute. Should we go see if we can sneak up a little bit closer? Don't want to disturb this peaceful scene. Just let the engine run for a little bit. Especially for those piglets, they probably haven't encountered that many cars. Out them. I think unfortunately our piglets have gone. But our baboons are still here. Oh no, there they are. There they are. Little piggies. Oh, little piggies. Jono, the reason that warthogs are called warthogs is because they've got protrusions on their face. Obviously, they are part of the pig family, hence the hog. And they've got these protrusions on their face. In the case of the females, they've got one pair. In the case of the males, they've got 2 pairs of what essentially people decided when they were naming them, naturally, people decided that they looked like warts. They're not warts. They are basically cartilaginous growths on their face. For the males, they're much more prominent because it helps to protect their sensitive areas when they fight over females. And warthogs, especially where they have strict breeding seasons, like in South Africa, they have a rutting season and they fight very, very fiercely. And it was not that clear on the piglets because they haven't started growing properly yet. And of course, now that we're talking about it, mums have decided to hide their faces from us. Maybe because I told them that people think they're ugly. And that's hence the name Warthog. Chantal, what's in Afrikaans again? It's driving me mad. I've been trying to think of it the whole time. It's a vlakvark. Yeah, it is. It's a vlakvark. Still not as good an Afrikaans name as an eystervark. An iron pig. Porcupine. It's quite cool. It is one of the best names. And a serval. Tierboskat. Tiger bush cat. Okay, I think that for the most part our baboons and our warthogs have disappeared. We're going to carry on looking for our leopard. Let's go back to Taylor to find out how her sighting's going.
Well, we thought there was going to be a change of events because our lioness obviously moved off, and then the vultures did not even wait a second before they started descending from the sky, from the tops of trees, and landing very close by to this carcass. And I was quite excited. I thought, ooh, yes, now we're going to get the cleanup crew coming in and showing us how quickly they can completely devour a carcass. But our lioness, the older girl, came charging in, the one that tolerates no other predators, not hyenas nor vultures, and she chased them off. And now she's nibbling again. She's probably going to try and drag it. She's getting closer and closer to that tree. So, well, you can't see the tree. The tree is behind us. We've just changed position again. So, it might take her a while. I mean, the sighting could go on and on and on and on. The reason why she left was because the other lionesses started calling. They were contact calling, obviously, saying, where are you? Or how much longer are you going to be with that zebra carcass? You know, very demanding, the other group are. Not willing to help. Just delegators. And, gee, that's a specialty in South Africa, is delegators. Normally when you do a job, you'll have 10 people so that the job goes fast enough, but you'll only have one person doing the work and the rest of them standing around telling you how to dig holes is normally what it's like. So it seems as though it rings true in Kenya with the lions as well. But the vultures are coming in hot, as Connor once said. A drone video, which was quite funny. We always tease him about that. And they're going to probably just hang around in the trees. A bit hard to see because they're flying above us now. And I mean, you've got one vulture in the tree. Hello, vulture in the tree. I think this is one of the initial vultures that swooped on down and then got chased by the lioness. So they'll come in eventually, and they will gobble up everything. They'll eat it until there's nothing left. Unless that girl takes it to the tree, and then of course they can't have any of it because they'll be close by and they'll be too scared to take on a lion. Rightfully so. Especially those youngsters. Actually, those youngsters would probably enjoy the vultures coming down. Might give them something to play with and chase around. A good thing to practice on. Who knows? Maybe they get lucky and even catch a vulture. I've seen videos and things of lions catching vultures at watering holes. Right now, I've still got my goal of seeing vultures bathing on the list. I wonder if I'm going to get the opportunity to see it here. I feel like if I'm going to see it anywhere, I'm probably going to see it here, just because the numbers of vultures are so much more, and there's so much water around too. So who knows? But that would be really exciting, and if I have it, I really want to experience it with all of you too. So I hope that I'm live for that. That should be nice. The carcass is looking a lot more empty now, so it should be better and easier for her to carry. Maybe that's why she's stopping and feeding. She's going, if I just can stomach through this and eat some more, then I know it's not going to be as heavy. Except all that weight is just transferring to your belly. Nibbling away. Absolutely delicious. It doesn't smell either. It's still fairly fresh. Okay, well that sounds interesting and promising. Jamie has found, apparently, a cool berg.
I have. I've been desperately trying to get it on camera. We just managed it. Oh, Oh man, it was a little bit short-lived. It was a black and white casqued hornbill that you were looking at, believe it or not. I'll have to show you a picture because you didn't really get a view of it. I have been chasing those birds since I got here, trying to get them on camera for you, and they just never works. The one time we had one sitting in a tree right next to us, but we had an attack of the gremlins. So this is what it looks like. It is a very cool bird and a new one for, I think, lots of you. There we go. That is what a black and white casqued hornbill looks like. And that was what just flew over. Oh, my screen's a little dusty. That was what just flew over our heads. Manu did an amazing job of actually managing to capture it. They love the forested areas around the river, and for that reason, they've proved to be elusive. There you go. So I think one of our first sightings of black and white casqued hornbills. I'm not sure if any of the other guides have put them on camera yet. Cool. I'm quite sad that we just didn't quite. Just sad we didn't quite get a view of it. So I'm sure it's the same one. They fly backwards and forwards between the escarpment and here, and I'll be sitting in a line sighting going, bird, bird, and then it's gone. But we tried. Well done, Manu. We kind of got it on camera. We kind of saw it. Come back! Could try calling it, but I don't think my speaker's going to be loud enough. So cool, another hornbill species for you all. If we ever head back towards the coast, I'm also going to try and get a picture of a silvery cheeked hornbill. Looks very similar, but it's massive and very beautiful. Okay, the leopard search was unsuccessful, but we still had a pretty good time, I think, driving around Cute Corner. I know I'm not the only one on the search for the leopard. Brent, of course, is always on the search for a leopard. Let's go and see if he's had any luck.
We haven't had any cat luck, but we suddenly just saw about 20 hyenas running through the herd of zebra, and tails up, excitement going. What is going on? Is it a clan war? I can't see any kill around here. And we know there's more hyenas down in the dip. Could there be an invasion into different clan territory? Look at this, isn't this incredible? Look at these hyenas, it's like an army. I think this is going, oh, see, look, I don't know if that's the same clan down there. Chantal, we might get ready for Facebook because just in case. If that is a different clan, this could get very, very gruesome. Now, hyenas during clan wars, by the looks of things, it is a different clan. I'm not going to go right down into the drainage because it is one of those places where gremlins live. But we got a really nice view from up here. Okay, Chantal, when you're ready. Now, it's definitely, we're on the boundary of two clans. So there was an invasion and now a retreat. Now this is really interesting behavior. This is not something you get to see every day. Welcome, welcome, welcome. We look like we have clan wars going on here. Two separate hyena clans right on the peripheries of their territories. There must be 30 or 40 hyenas, and at the moment they're sort of feeling each other out. Some charge in, others charge out, but sometimes these clan wars can get very, very aggressive. See, there we go, now running back. So obviously this little dip or valley here is the boundary between two different hyena clans. Now, I know the name of the clan that is off to at the bottom. I think they're called the Happy Valley clan. I'm not sure of the clan that's closest to us. But it's a bit of a standoff at the moment. Now, hyena wars can be very, very brutal, but at the moment they just seem to be eyeing each other out. Here we go. You can see the different clan down at the bottom of the valley. And quite surprisingly, you would expect this to come with a lot of noise, but at the moment it's actually very, very quiet. They're not vocalizing at all. Anna Maria says, I've never seen this before. It is really, really unusual behavior to see. And it normally happens in the dead of night, so actually getting it in the day. And there seems to be a bit of a standoff between the two clans at the moment. Oh, there we go, having another charge. This looks a bit more serious this time. The clan at the bottom are retreating. Eduardo wants to know, will there be a death? Quite possibly, Eduardo. If they do manage to catch a member... Oh, there we go. The clan we're with is pushing the others across the valley. Now, this is where confusion might happen when the two clans get mixed up. This is absolutely fascinating. Sweet History is saying, how do you tell who is who? Well, Sweet History, it's probably from smell. Look at that. So it's very much to and fro. Now, they retreated. Now the others are retreating. Now, it looks like they don't want to get to that sort of aggressive fighting stage because no one wants to get injured or hurt. But this could just be a proper standoff, sort of on the border. You come across here, you're in trouble, but if you come across here, you're in trouble. So they keep chasing each other to and fro. Now, see what's happening now is they're smelling the scent mark from the other clan. James is wondering who will be leading the respective armies. It will be the high-ranking females, matriarchs, her daughters, and other high-ranking females. Low-ranking females would probably just get out of here. And with, oh, there we go. We're having almost another advance. I must say that the numbers of the clan on the other side of the valley seem to be quite a lot less than the clan on our side, but they are definitely standing their ground. This is incredibly interesting behavior. Now we're on the retreat again. We've had a sniff. We've pasted on top of other people's scent marks. Now let's head back into our territory, it almost looks like. So this is very much a marking of the boundaries. Stace says hyenas are so beautiful and fascinating. Indeed they are. They have such complex social structures. Oh, the ones at the bottom are rushing in now to go scent mark where the others have just scent marked. So you see them there, sniff, 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 sniff. And look at this, they're just retreating. Like, okay, we've made our point. Wait, we're all stopping, let's have a look now. Have a look back down the valley. Golden Girl is wondering what would make them suddenly take on another clan. Well, it's difficult to say. So the hyena boundaries are a lot less porous than the big cat boundaries. It's just very much a solid boundary of scent with very little leeway on either side. And I think possibly if another clan came too close to a den, or really tried to take over another clan's territory, that would lead to an actual battle. Let me just reverse quickly for Ferg here. So I think that's the boundary of that clan, and now this clan is back on their boundary. So there's probably about 100 meters or so in between. You can see all the scent marking and anal pasting going on now. And they're marking the boundary of their territory. It's incredible. Now, are they going to storm back down towards the other clan? Or is the other clan going to storm up towards where we are? And it's surprisingly silent because hyenas are very vocal animals. Sheppy absolutely says absolutely amazing what it's seen. It is. Now I've only ever seen this under the cover of darkness. I've never seen such a prominent clan sort of display from two different clans during the light. It's actually amazing to be able to see. You can see how windy it is with all the dust from the scent marking. I'm trying to keep an eye on both clans at the moment. So the other clans came up almost up to the, came halfway up the hill, and now they're retreating back to what is probably their boundary. Now we don't know how long this has been going on for, but I think it just started, because those hyenas we saw in the distance, they were all just having a nap down in the valley, and then suddenly this 15 or 20 came streaming across the hill we're sitting on and headed towards them. And now carrying on with the scent marking, but with there's a lot less excitement than when we initially saw them. That was absolutely fascinating. It looks like this clan has now decided, well, apart from that one who's not ready to finish scent marking just yet. You go, hyena. But the other clan members, a lot of them are retreating. Both the clans are retreating back. Wasn't that absolutely incredible? Now that's the first time I've ever got to see, sorry Fig, I'll get back for you now, something like this. In daylight hours. I mean, it's mid-morning here, and these hyenas are just behaving incredibly. Remember, this is 100% live. Oh no, look at this again. Now all of a sudden something's triggered. They're excited again. Are they're going to charge back down the hill? Elizabeth's wondering, how far do clans den apart? Generally you'll find that the dens are right in the center of their territory, so as far from the boundary as possible. So it all depends on the clan territory size, but probably a good couple of kilometers, 5 to 10 kilometers away from each other. It's almost like, are we going to charge? Are we? Aren't we? I think they are. Louise is wondering, would it be uncommon for clan members to change sides? Yes, Louise, it's very, very rare, and it's normally only the males that will disperse, but they will leave alone. They won't leave from a group like this. Of course, all the blood's up. Let me just try and get a little bit further to the left here. You can see down. We're just going to have a look if they're going to charge back down the hill. Malise would like to know, how many do I think there are? So next to us, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20 in this group. And in this clan, let me just get my binoculars and I'll have a look at the other clan. And the other clan, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. So very evenly matched numbers. 20. So they're actually 20-20. So maybe that's why. Oh, I can hear some very strange soft vocalizations. The wind is quite strong, so it's quite difficult. Sort of a. There we go. Ooh. Isn't this There we go. Now if they start vocalizing, they could get themselves going into a frenzy. Jono would like to know, are these clans larger than regular clans? The Mara hyena clans are massive. They can go up to over 100 individuals in a clan. So yes, they are larger than most places of Africa. Oh, see, that little bit of vocalization seemed to have changed the mood again. Tails are up. And you can see there's definitely two very distinct clans here. And from the behavior, I would say we're sitting right. Ooh, I think we're getting more numbers now. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. So these guys have upped their numbers. Some more hyenas have come in from behind us. So now they have a numerical advantage. Is that going to lead them to actually take a full charge at the other clan? Only 4 more. This is incredible. Is this going to end up in another standoff, or are they going to make a foray across the boundary? Let's get a bit closer. Now I'm purposely staying up and away so we don't interfere, and we're just watching everything unfold. And the wildebeest have done us a great favor by grazing this grass nice and flat so we can see. Cheryl is wondering, would the head of the clan or the matriarch fight? Most definitely. The matriarchs and higher ranking females are more aggressive and will generally lead the attack. But it looks like we're having another standoff across the valley at the moment. It does seem to be dying down slightly, but the others are moving up to be opposite the clan on our side. It's hard to choose sides, yeah? Which clan side are you on, Ferg? Our side is just because we're on this side, I think we'll support this clan. So the clan, yes, that I think is the opposite clan is the Happy Valley clan. Well, Simon has got the spot on #epic. I mean, this is incredible. As I say, you do not see stuff like this, and especially not in daylight. Stace says these are all the members, right? Probably not, Stace. There could be other members that are quite far. This older members, yes. Oh, so older, not all. Yes, I don't see any sub-adults, and the sub-adults would have done a very fast disappearing act at the first sign of clan wars. Okay, so here we go. The others from the other side are making an approach again. And see more reinforcements coming in, one at a time. We're going to give it a few more minutes. I think if it's going to boil over, it's going to be very soon as the numbers swell on our side. Ours are approaching the ones at the bottom of the valley. Tails are up. And I think those bolstered numbers... Okay, here comes a charge from our side. It looks like they've managed to put the other clan to tail. Here they go. Now this is where stuff might change. Look, they're gonna actually almost get right into the other clan. The other clan's running now. But again, it's just testing that boundary. Now will we have a retreat again? Yep, now we're in full retreat. The other clan is charging. Oh, the wind is incredibly hard at the moment. Now, Shamsung's wondering, are these all females? No, there will definitely be males involved as well. Oh, there we go. Now our clan's charging again. This looks a little bit more serious. This is the first time they've actually crossed the valley floor. And there we go, the other clan charging back. Oh, and now that other clan's in retreat again. This is absolutely fascinating. And we've got over 40 hyenas doing the dance, the up and down dance. Oh, there we go. Someone's nearly got caught off on the side. Oh no, then charge back. Oh, go far left, Ferg. That almost looked like one got separated. And I don't think you want to be separated. Now, I'm not sure who's who. It's all got a bit messy. All the clans are intermingled. Now, this is where violence might happen if they can manage to catch a single one in a group of the others. This is incredible behavior. Kayleen wants to know if one from the other one manages to grab another, will it set the others off? Almost certainly. Hyenas are very much they're starting to make noise. So this is getting a little bit more serious now. The more excited they get, the more of this running up and down there is, the more likely there is to be a fight. Now remember, this is 100% live, coming to you from the Masai Mara in Kenya. And Laura says this is like a rugby game, the to and fro. Now, are we retreating again? Yes, there's a retreat. Our side is retreating and the other side is taking advantage. They're pushing them. Now, could this be a ploy to get... Yes, I thought so. To get them closer. You can see there's a little bit more seriousness in some of these chasing. Wow, look at her go. Oh, then she realized, oh, she's by herself. Let's go back for reinforcements. This is just incredible. Marissa says this is almost comical. I actually have to agree with you there, Marissa. At the moment, it's sort of this toing and froing, but I have seen hyenas fight with each other, and it can turn very bloody and very serious in a split second. But I would say our side's winning, Ferg. They're pushing the others further and further across the valley. It's just pandemonium in there. Kelsey would like to know, how does the rest of the clan know that there's a fight brewing so they come in and help? From vocalizations. So the hyenas have a lot of vocalizations. About 80% are made by low-ranking or males and are completely ignored. But 20% of those vocalizations made by high-ranking females will bring the clan streaming in. Okay, now we're retreating again. Kelly is wondering, do they fight to the death? Indeed, Kelly. If it does get to teeth, the hyenas will show no mercy with each other. And there we go. Now, ours are retreating. The others are charging. But not with the same vigor. Now, unfortunately, the wind is quite strong, but the vocalizations have started now. So they're starting to get a little bit more excited. And of course, those sounds, if I can hear them, a hyena's hearing is so much better than mine. It must be bringing in other clan members from both sides. Maybe it was just an attempt to steal an extra 200 meters of territory. because now it looks like the Happy Valley clan from the other side are trying to make their escape. So Lauren from Illinois is wondering what makes them move forward in retreat. It'll be exciting. They get each other very excited, hyenas. But this almost looks like a full retreat now from the Happy Valley lot. But so the reason they haven't actually clashed yet, as I said, the clans are of similar size in terms of numbers at the moment that are involved in the battle, but they really don't want to get hurt. So if they can either escape without fighting or dominate and take over territory without fighting, that is the best winning situation for both clans. Looks like our side won, Ferg. What should we call them? I think it's the Puringut clan, as we are quite close to the Puringut bridge. Oh, we've got the Puringut pride already. Oh no, so we can't do that. Bridge clan. Bridge clan. How's that sound, Ferg? Oh, the Safari Live clan. No, I think it was sick. The Clunky clan that's from Alex and FC. So it looks like our side has won, and it is calming down. They've managed to get probably about 200 meters of territory. We are going to sit here a little bit longer to see if it escalates again, and if it does, keep an eye on those Facebook notifications. We will go live again, and so it's been great having you with us. So keep an eye on those Facebook notifications. We can't wait to show you what other wonders the Mara has to offer. So goodbye for now. I don't know. Hi, Brian. Is it? Yeah, it looks like it. They've been chasing each other up and down. Sorry guys, Brian, the warden of the Mara, is with us now. I'm just having a quick chat. They've been chasing each other up and down for about 40 minutes now. It's very interesting. It's amazing. It's the first time I've ever seen it during the day. Because they came from this side, about 20, and the others were all just sleeping in the lugger, and then they've now pushed off. This side's got about an extra 10, so they're putting it about 25 now, and then they're only 19 in the other clan. But it's been incredible. They've just been up and down. No actual violence yet. Okay, so we're going to sit here, see what happens next with these hyenas. While we do that, let's go across to Jamie, who's way up north with the largest antelope in the Mara.
Well, from what sounds like a hugely exciting sighting with Brent to something that I kind of promised I would try and find, and I mentioned it this morning. How many of you would really like to see a very tiny baby eland? Because there's one here. It's hiding away, tucked up in the bushes because it's quite windy and quite cold out here on the marsh. So if we look very, very closely, wait, which one? There, that one. That's the bushes that it's in. There you go. That is a tiny, tiny little baby eland. And I'm going to try reposition. It was wandering around earlier, but obviously the hyena action was pumping down south. But I think we could reposition and have a little look. It is tiny. It's probably only about a few days old, I would say. It really is very, very young. So let's try a reposition and see if we can get a different view. Just trying to suckle from mom. Seems like we're having a bit of a baby-themed drive today, from our side anyway. Oh, little baby, you are so tucked away, and we waited patiently with you, and now you've gone to sleep. It's fair enough. Tiny little one needs all the sleep it can get. Lots of growing to do to be the largest antelope. I don't think we can see it from here. And the baby's far too fast asleep to disturb. Nope, sorry everyone. Unfortunately, there it is. You can just see movement in the back there. Little munchkin? I think it's done for the day. Little ear twitching and that's it. That is not Mum. Mum is the eland over there. That's Mum. Keeping guard while her little one sleeps. Cute. Okay. Well, I was going to try and show it to you, but unfortunately it really is now next to invisible. Nice, safe little place. Okay, in that case, I think Manu and I are going to start making for breakfast. Since baby's hidden away. I wonder what our breakfast is this morning. I'm excited. I've been thinking about breakfast since about 5 o'clock this morning. I hope it's ready when we get back. That hyena action sounded absolutely incredible. It's a pity it's so windy today because I imagine that the sound effects must have been breathtaking. Hello, little Tommies. What started out as a really beautiful morning has gone quite overcast and quite chilly. Hopefully the rain stays away tonight though, because Manu and I are going to be out until quite late, depending upon the circumstances and the situation. Which is why we've got to go rushing back to camp. I've got quite a few things to do before we head out again this afternoon. Chantal, have I lost comms or are you still there? Ah, there we go. There you are. All in all, we've actually had quite a lovely drive. We've had babies, lions, hyena action, and I hope that the Djuma crew have had a really good rest. A well-deserved morning off, I would say. Alright, we're going to race towards the escarpment and start our journey up the hill. Let's go find out how T's doing on her side.
I've just spotted something and I don't know what it is, so I need your help. Look, that funny looking plant, which is, I don't have any idea what that could be because I don't think I've ever seen anything like that in South Africa before, but it is beautiful. Isn't that amazing? I'm talking about the yellow one, of course. Look at those flowers on it. So, please can you take many screenshots and maybe James or Brent or Jamie or Scott has already gone through as to what this flower is, and I'd absolutely love to know because it is very striking and it's all over the show at the moment. How beautiful is that? It's a pity I can't get out to go and see if it has a nice smell to it. That is stunning, don't you think? And then there's also another animal that's just poking its head out in the grass. I think it's our friend that was singing a beautiful song for us earlier this morning, the southern red-billed hornbill. And there it goes, looking for food. It's on its own though, which is interesting, unless the others are just, you know, taking a rest somewhere. Not quite out in the open where we can see them, because I did hear more than one calling at one point this morning. But it's just interesting to see just one on its own, because typically when they do feed, they'll feed together in almost a line, trying to flush out prey. That's a more effective way. You know, on your own it is tough. It gets harder and harder to try and catch something. Yeah, got a cricket or a grasshopper or something delicious, and lovely. Not a substantial snack though. You can see it was not impressed by that at all. Didn't do the exaggerated, you know, tilting of the head back and throwing the food up. It looks like I got something else maybe. Oh no, missed attempt. Really, it's like fishing, isn't it? Throw a line in, get a nibble. Sometimes you pull one out, otherwise the fish gets away. It's not hunting fish, that's obviously going for insects. Catch a chameleon or a lizard. Well, something's intrigued it. Let's see if I can see. You just see its tail feathers up in the air. Maybe it's seen something moving around in that specific tuft of grass. It's been a really wonderful morning. I've thoroughly enjoyed this drive. There's a nice view of the hornbill again. It's great to spend as much time as we can. Oh, there's another one. There they are. That makes a bit more sense now, doesn't it? And you're not, it's your wings that are blowing up, not your tail. Oh, it was going backside over, but that's not the case. I would hate to be a grasshopper, or even a little mouse, or a snake, or something like that, and especially having these two big birds moving through the grass. I think it'd be quite scary. Anyways, fantastic, of course, drive from all of us today. Brent, however, has got loads and loads of action with the hyenas. Let's go back to him.
Well, our team is pushed even further in, and they're just scent marking now and claiming territory, but slowly but surely they seem to be moving the other clan further and further over towards the top of the next ridge. But this is incredible behavior. And the non-violence is fascinating, because people often associate hyenas with great violence, but this has been a slow, deliberate maneuver, and there hasn't been any great violence just yet. Not to say that there isn't great violence during clan takeovers, or territory takeovers, or territory steals, I suppose, but at the moment there is no violence happening. It's just a lot of posturing. And of course, no animal actually wants to get hurt, and I think that's what they're going for here. Is that we'll take the land, and hopefully we'll take it without actually having to fight too seriously for it. So even if the clan retreats all the way back, this clan is definitely, the clan from our side is definitely won a battle, because they have encroached much further into what seems to be the other clan's territory. Now, I'm just trying to remember, where's this? Is this Majachafu? So the other clan's den is over the next rise. So if we come over here, so we've got a lugger down here. So the other clan's den, where's my hand, is just over this rise in the next lugger. Oh, we're charging again, sorry Ferg. Oh, there we go. Oh, isn't this absolutely fascinating? Probably it's like a hyena game of chess. I move here, you move there. Are you going to move back? Oh, I'm going to move back. Now this is where it gets confusing, when they're all sort of milling about together. Oh, this is just incredible. So just a reminder, while these hyenas are still doing the clan war dance, that tomorrow morning's sunrise safari will be starting half an hour earlier. So we will be starting half an hour earlier from tomorrow morning. Just there is a blog out, you can go check and check what time zone or what time it is in your time zone. So just remember to have a look at that blog, and if you don't need the blog, all you need is remember it's only half an hour earlier tomorrow morning. Oh, and there we go. Further and further do the marauding Bridge clan push into the Happy Valleys territory. Now, remember, if anything does escalate here, Fergus and I will be right here, and so keep an eye on Facebook to see if the notifications for us to go live. We could be with the hyenas fighting. You never know, we might find a cheetah on the hunt, or lions fighting each other. And that's the wonderful thing about being out here all day, every day, is that we can bring you the most absolutely spectacular African wildlife at any second. So you've got to be up all night to keep up with the Safari Live crew. But we would love to have you on board with us. Now we are coming towards the end of what has been a fantastic sunrise safari, and the ladies dominated the lions, but I know they're probably a little bit jealous not to have seen the Hyena clan war. So we're coming, let's have a last look. Our clan has definitely won the battle and has taken over at least the valley for now. So we're going to stick with them, probably get a bit closer to them across the Gremlin Bridge, but keep an eye on Facebook. We could go live at any second. But from all of us here at Safari Live and the excited hyenas, bye!